Hello. Hi all. It's been a minute. It's been a couple weeks. There has been so much happening on my end. One thing that has happened is I'm a little more elevated this time because I have a couch now. And if it looks like my couch is in my kitchen, it's because it technically is because of the small apartment that I'm in. But it is like double the size of my Seattle apartment. Um, but you wouldn't know from this video. Anyways, going off topic, I wanted to connect with you all today because it's been a minute since I've been on and so much has been happening for me. There has been so much learning, so much unlearning, so many revelations, honestly, as far as what I've been diving into, tapping into, tuning into, just really paying attention to. And so I wanted to come on and just, briefly and just share a little bit with you all on some of the things that have been coming up. So a couple weeks ago, I mentioned in a previous live that I was actually going to be going on a tech-free retreat to Salt Lake. And it was, I don't know if I said this, but it was like a mom and daughter thing. So I got to spend some time with my mom. I hadn't seen her in almost a year when, she's somebody who's like a best friend to me. And when I was living in Seattle, we prioritized seeing each other like every couple weeks. So to go from like every couple weeks to just not seeing each other for a year was really hard. So getting to see her was incredible, but then also the experience of that retreat was incredible. And I got to bond with a few other, a couple, another mom and daughter, and then the photographer. And it was just like this beautiful experience with these incredible women and in the most scenic environment. I think I've been sleeping on Salt Lake, to be honest. I don't know why, but I didn't realize just how beautiful of a location that is. I had been in Utah before, but never actually in Salt Lake. So to see that and to literally fly into a bowl of mountains was the most breathtaking thing. And then everywhere you go, you're surrounded by that same beauty. So anyways, it was just an incredible experience. And while I was there, um, right before I had left for that trip, I was not in necessarily the best place because of a lot of things that have been happening in my life. Over the last few months, there has been a lot of resistance. And I decided that I was going to go on this trip and I was going to literally just make the best of it. I was going to go into this just just releasing whatever was going on for the moment, and I was just going to fully be present and I was going to fully tune in to the experience I was having because I didn't want to waste it. I didn't want to sit there and dwell on things and allow my past moments, my previous moments, to come into the present moment with my mom, with these beautiful, incredible souls. I didn't want to ruin that, so I decided to set it aside. And what that allowed me to do was, like I said, just really be in the moment. And I enjoyed it. I soaked it up. We did so many amazing things. And I'm sure I'll share pictures later as I get them back. But one thing that hit me when I got back was I realized that when we are feeling really, just really intense emotions or just undesirable emotions, or we're just feeling like frustrated, mad, just kind of these shadow side emotions, again, they're not necessarily a bad thing, but when we are feeling them and then we can just accept them and then we can release them, then what happens is we actually let go of all of the stuck energy that we have had inside of us. It's almost like we take out, I like to think of it as like if you're sitting in a bath and you like pull the plug and then you drain the tub and like all the water goes flowing down the drain. Well, that's like your emotions. When you are frustrated, when you're feeling stuck, when you have all these like built up things, what's happening is that your emotional body, because remember, we're not just a physical body, we're an emotional body as well, a spiritual body. We are keeping that stuck. And if we never allow ourselves a chance to just release it and let it go, then it's never going to give us all the stuff in life that we really want, because we're just continuously building up this blockage. We're just stacking it on, stacking it on, stacking it on. And so what I did over when I was in Salt Lake was I just removed the barrier. I just said, you know what? I accept this is how I'm feeling. I accept it, but you know what? I'm going to now accept that I don't want to feel that anymore, and I want to be in the moment that I'm choosing to be in. And by doing that, I freed myself of all that stuckness. And it took, it's been a week or so since I've been back, and kind of settling back into my new way of being, my new life, my new just routines and everything. But what I'm noticing is that the domino effect of deciding that before that trip and then experiencing that trip and being in pure joy, experiencing play, what I ended up coming back to was alignment, and alignment in every single area, from friendships, from a healing place with my ex. Now we're really great friends. My entire apartment is together. I'm seeing success in my business. You guys, like, next level success that I have been dreaming about since I started it a year and a half ago. I just and the contentness I feel in who I am and the self-love, it all is forming because I gave it the space to, because I allowed for that alignment to form, because I finally stopped blocking it. If you think about it as like a river, like, all those stuck emotions are like literally like the logs in the way. And if the flow is trying to get through, but it has to go around, it's going to throw you off course a bit. You're going to feel a little wonky because, you weren't able to just flow seamlessly. But when you take out the block and you let the river just flow, like, the alignment just starts to pour in. And yes, it takes a little bit of time because everything requires a gestation period. I give this example too a lot of times. Like, for example, if you were to have like a baby, you wouldn't want to get pregnant and then the next day have that baby, right? Like, you want time to allow that baby to become the most beautiful, perfect being that it needs to be. And you want to give yourself time to become the most perfect, amazing, parent for that perfect child. And so when you connect together, it's a perfect time. So that is the truth with anything. The moment you want more for yourself, it's not just going to appear. You have to be ready for it. You have to be the person that can allow that flow in. So that way it's right. And that way you really appreciate the contrast. I think that's the whole purpose of it too, is to appreciate how good it feels to have that thing. And that's typically why I believe we experience a lot of resistance before that thing comes in. But yeah, anyways, I wanted to share that because I'm feeling I feel like a new version of myself. I feel like I'm starting to finally see the light, and I feel hopeful, and I feel excited, and I feel all the goodness starting to come in. And I share this with you. It's not necessarily to be about me, but I want you to understand that if you are going through a resistant time, if you're feeling frustrated, the steps that I encourage you to take are accept those emotions, accept how you're feeling, even out loud say to yourself, I don't know how I feel all over the place. Like, face your fears, face your emotions. I feel angry right now. I feel confused. I feel like, why am I feeling like this? I'm angry. Like, whatever you're feeling, feel it fully. And then you have to decide. You have to decide that you want to change your state. You want to be in a different place. You accept what you're feeling, but you don't want that to be what's your future, because how you're feeling creates the next experience, which then dominoes into every ounce of your future. So you have to decide right now how you want to feel moving forward. And then what you do is you trust that it's going to be okay. And that's easier said than done. But a really easy way to tap into that trust is to give yourself an ounce of play by changing your state. That doesn't necessarily have to mean literally changing the state you're in like I did. That can literally just mean like changing your surroundings. If you're inside working all the time, go for a walk. Go walk down the hallway. Do a couple laps around your complex or whatever. Change the environment because it's going to change your mood. That's going to change your state. And when you do that, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel more hopeful and that you're not going to be in that stuck place forever. Even if you don't have the answer on what the other side of it looks like, you're going to start changing your physiology. You're going to start changing your mental state. So when you can do that, you're then going to feel better and you're going to be more patient and you're going to be okay with it not being okay right now. So get yourself into a more of a playful, change state, change environment, change surroundings. Stand up. If you're feeling stuck, if you're feeling ugh, or you don't know how you're feeling, if you're sitting and you're feeling like that, literally, if all you do is stand up and shake a bit, like shake your hands or just like kind of move your body a second, you're going to already feel amazingly different. So those are my first couple steps. And then what I would do is try to become conscious at each stage, at each moment, like feel the feelings, acknowledge how you're feeling, have an intention of what you want to feel, bring consciousness into it. When you are stepping away to change your state, actively be aware that that's what you're doing and why you're doing what you're doing. Bring that consciousness into it. And when you do, you will notice you start to feel powerful because you are creating your states, you're creating your energy, you're creating your mood, and you are deciding how you feel. And it's literally just little changes like that can create such a powerful emotion. So then what you want to do is once you've faced, hey Salman, meditation. Yeah, so meditation is an incredible tool, and I'll kind of get back to what I was sharing in a moment. But since you brought it up, meditation is amazing. And the way that I really define meditation is, yes, it's a tool, and you can use it, at the bookends of your day to really gain control of how you're waking up, how you're going to bed, to set the tone. But what's important to know about meditation is that, and if you want to add any clarity into like your question about it, with what you mean, like when you say, what about meditation? What do you mean about meditation? I would, please add any clarity you want. But when I say meditation, when I think about meditation, I don't think that it's not necessarily like what people think about it or say it is on TV. It's not just sitting here in silence, with your, I'm not even doing the hands right, I'm sorry, but like in that like calm, peaceful state. Meditation is simply the act of being present. That's simply what it is. So you can do that while you're driving. You can do that in line for something. You can do that by like when you're in a conversation, deciding to shut your brain down and realizing that, oh, if I just actually listen more to what they're saying instead of trying to share with them, my thought, then I'll actually gain more because I already know what I want to say. I already understand my thoughts, but if I can tune into what they're saying, then I can get more just being more present in the moment with them. And then that creates a better energy where they're actually going to enjoy my presence more. So those are just some examples of how you can become more present, but that's really what I believe meditation is. And I think that is such a healing thing to bring in, because what it does is it allows you to be grateful for the moment that you're in. And when you can be more grateful, then you can find more joy and more purpose to be in the moment that you're in, which then creates a domino effect of just a better life in general. And I always call gratitude the power emotion. Gratitude is the number one power emotion to a better life. How do you get that? By changing your state, by doing the other things that I've just discussed. So, I know I'm kind of going all over the place on this, but I really want you to understand at the end of the day, like all of this is really about understanding that everything happens in its perfect time, even if it doesn't feel like it makes any sense right now. Like everything that was building up for me before I went on my trip, I was so frustrated in a lot of moments, and I was facing so much resistance, and I was feeling so stuck, and I was like, oh, why isn't this happening? But the reason it did is so that I could surrender. It forced me to surrender and say, you know what, I don't have the answers. What can I do about the things that I can control? The only thing I could control was my personal state and my emotions. So I had to get to a place where I could work through that. So what I did was I acknowledged it. I set an intention for what I wanted. I surrendered. I took myself to a different environment. When I came back from my trip, I reflected on it. I reflected on the experience I had, the people I enjoyed the experience with, how I felt before versus how I feel now, which is a form of recalibration, which it's a whole other video. I can go into that for you guys if you want another video on that. But yes, so it's just becoming conscious at each step, really acknowledging the moment you're in, choosing more for yourself. And then at the end of the day, being grateful for the experience. being grateful and being able to find the silver linings and the blessings throughout the entire process of it. And so I just think it's important to know like everything serves a purpose. Um, Knowing that it's supposed to things are supposed to happen in your life when they're supposed to happen, because it's all just meant to be, because you're supposed to learn what you are supposed to learn. And I'm reading your comment, Dustin, divine timing, talking about faith and trusting God and his timing and him sitting with you through the mess to get you through it together and prepare you for what is coming next for you. Yeah, I love that question. I just want to read it again. Are we talking about faith and trusting God and his timing and him sitting with you through the mess to get you through it together and prepare you for what is coming next for you? Yeah, I really believe yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I realized I didn't necessarily define what I meant by divine timing. But yes, I think, for me, my trust and faith is me having a faith in God. But whoever you believe in or whatever you believe in, if it's whatever your higher power source is, just fully settling into that, building a relationship with that, and trusting that that relationship has you. It has your back, and it's planning your life with you, so you're never alone. And knowing that even when life feels unbearable or feels so like, oh, I have no idea what to do next, or I have no idea where I'm going next, that you are not alone in that. Not only the fact that everybody goes through their own stuff, everybody is fighting their own battle every day, but also that as you are going through life, like it's being co-created with you through your higher source. Now, I can't speak to people that don't believe in a higher source, because that's just not how I move through life. But I know that if you can trust that that source has you and is creating this with you, and there's an ultimate plan, because I really believe we're all meant to do something with our lives, whether it's big, small, just meant to impact people, in our own way as we're experiencing our journey. I believe it's created for us. And so it's individual to all of us. So kind of going through the comments here, I really appreciate all of you sharing your thoughts and your words here. So Solomon, you say spiritual meditation. Okay, letting go and know the divine plan / timing. Hardest thing to do is to let go and surrender. I love what you're saying. Thank you, Solomon. I appreciate you so much. Yeah, and I believe there's a lot of thoughts around the idea that meditation is like just spiritual, or it's just like for certain religions and things. But again, going back to the definition that I had for it, meditation is simply, the entire purpose of it is to be fully present in the moment. And it's also important to remember that meditation is a practice, right? It's life work. Being completely able to let go and calm yourself is the goal. That's like what everybody's working towards, right? So it takes practice. It takes constantly working at it. It takes constantly knowing that you're not perfect. There's no such thing as perfect. But as long as you have intention of connecting with that higher source and doing it in a way that feels good to you, and you know that you're constantly checking in with yourself, then I don't even think it's spiritual. I just think it's a way of being. It's just who you are. It's just building that relationship. So then also when you do, you can connect to your source stronger. And then your source, when you're more connected, you feel so much more trusting, and you know that something has your back. And then you know that the temporary moments of resistance and frustration and confusion, it's all going to be okay, and it's actually all serving a purpose, and it's actually all supposed to be happening. Because I'll tell you, all the resistance stuff that I had been feeling before I left for my trip, yes, in the moment, it was really hard and really painful, and it was months and months of that. But when I got through it and I saw the contrast on the other side, I realized that if I hadn't gone through all of that, I wouldn't have come out with the clarity that I have now. So yes, it was painful, and maybe it lasted longer than it needed to, because I was, there was just so many things going on, and maybe I didn't work on it in the same way, or in an intense way like I could have, I guess. But it all came out and unfolded as it was supposed to. And now I have this new clarity, this new outlook, this new like focus and mission and drive and momentum that would not have happened if I didn't experience that resistance. So I just want to share all of this with you because I want you to know that whatever you're going through, whatever you're experiencing, whatever hardships, resistance, frustration that is coming up for you, just sit with yourself and know that the only thing you can control is how you feel through it. And I encourage you to feel through it. Acknowledge your emotions. Speak them out loud. Say what you're feeling. Process it. And even if that means just getting still with yourself and saying, I have no idea what's next, but I know I'm okay. I know something's got me. And then just moving one day at a time, then it'll all start to unravel itself. You'll start to see over time, like, oh, I understand the purpose of that. I'm grateful that I went through that. And you'll start to experience those emotions that you really want to have over time. But the best way to create that kind of future for yourself is to start building now, the knowing that that other side is possible. Start knowing that everything's gonna be okay even before it's okay. And that is the domino effect that you'll create. So I've gone on long enough. This was supposed to be like a 5-minute video, but I'm so passionate about this kind of topic, and even more so now after coming back from my trip, because I really felt, not only just know these things now, but I really experienced them to the core of these emotions. So I'm so excited to just share this kind of knowing with the world and to dive into all of this with you all. And if any of you are watching this, maybe watching the replay, and any of this like speaks to you, or you have more questions on it, or maybe you're going through a resistance and you want somebody to just kind of help you make sense of that, reach out to me. Let me know. I would love to connect with you and just do a call and say, hey, let's work through what's going on, because this stuff is so powerful and it's so important to know you are not alone. You are so guided, and God, the universe, higher source has your back. Like, you're gonna be okay, and it's all serving a purpose. So just know that. Okay, I've said that like 500 times now. Okay. Louise, thank you so much for hopping on. Yes, by surrendering to the situation and trusting in a higher power, we can find calm. Yes, and the more that you know that that is there for you, the calmer you will become. So sometimes it's almost like you have to speak it before you fully believe that it's there. That's what I did for years. I was like, I don't know if I'm guided or what is guiding me. I don't know. I feel so lost. And when I just gave in, I was like, you know what if I am guided? What if I am protected? What if something does have me? The more I started to feel that, the more I started really tuning in and actually being more curious about what my inner self, my higher self, the source, what it had to share with me, what it wanted to say. I started actually being able to listen and actually hear it because I was building that connection. And then that led up to where I'm at now, where I'm starting to get the lessons faster, starting to tune in more. Life is becoming better, faster, easier, aligned. So I want all of that for all of you as well. So I encourage you, if you get nothing else from this video, start acknowledging how you're feeling, vocalize it, sit with it, process it, and then be grateful for it and trust that it's going to be okay. Okay, signing off. Bye all.